welcome, bonjour, bonsoir, bienvenue à tous. Welcome to this week's edition of Wada Forum. We're so thrilled to have everyone here with us today. Our agenda for today is going to follow our regular structure. We have our opening, a little bit of a recap from last week's meeting, and then going into our network updates. Of course, we'll talk about Intersect. And I think we have some special guests here today to talk about some different regional launches that are happening around Africa. And then I know everyone's excited to hear more about the Fund 13 launch that was announced yesterday and that goes live today for submissions. Bon, maintenant en français pour couvrir rapidement notre agenda du jour. Nous allons suivre notre structure d'habitude, où on commence avec une petite récapitulatif des réunions précédentes et on lance les mises à jour de notre communauté. Il y a beaucoup à se dire pour le lancement des hubs Intersect en Afrique et nous sommes ravis d'avoir parmi nous aujourd'hui quelques membres de l'équipe du Kenya qui vont nous parler tout à l'heure. Et je sais qu'on anticipait beaucoup le lancement du Fond 13. Nous avons les mises à jour de ça aujourd'hui à venir. Next slide. Okay, so here we start with our statement of purpose, and I think I will call out Samuel to read the English one.
All right, am I coming through, Megan?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so this is why we usually gather here. This is our mission. This is what drives our energy. It is to elevate underrepresented groups through the application of technology and invest in a more equitable future. Thank you.
OK, en français, notre déclaration de but. Notre mission, promouvoir les groupes sous-représentés grâce à l'application de la technologie et investir dans un avenir plus équitable. All right, so next we'll just have a brief recap of last week's meeting for those of you who missed it. And here I'm going to pass over the microphone to Adufwa.
Hello, everyone. Yes, so last week was a good call. We had a lot going on the call. This is just a few of the things that we touched on last week. So for Catalyst Fund 13, last week we said that we'll start discussing Fund 13 strategy after the launch, which was yesterday. So I believe we'll start on the call today. We also said that there'll be a Google Sheet to document proposals from hub leads and then from people in our community as well. For Intersect updates, we said we are going to start a constitutional corner on our forums to discuss the constitution, the draft constitution, and then upcoming events that's leading to the Cardano constitution ratification in December this year in Argentina, which will have delegates from 63 global workshops. And then we also talked about the Intersect board and committee elections, which we said was open to the end of September. I think tomorrow is the last day. And then we also said that voting requires a $10 annual membership, not necessarily your ADA holdings. For Singularity Net, we said that we were working on a project in collaboration with Edify and Remostat, and the project is named Building an Exponential Tech Learning Community. So more updates will be given as the project moves along. And then we also had Nana Safo present on delegating to a DREP on the forum last week. Thank you, Megan, back to you.
Bon, comme c'est bien détaillé sur l'écran, je n'avais pas tout traduire, mais vous pouvez lire vous-même les petits récapitulatifs des réunions précédentes. And now let's get into the exciting parts of our meeting today, talking about the updates from around the world, around different corners of the blockchain, in particular Intersect. So I believe, Samuel, am I passing it to you for this one?
Yes, Megan, thank you very much. I take over from here. And I am talking about the committee and board elections. which has been ongoing for some time now. Last week, Mercy was here to present a very comprehensive information about the details of that. Today, we are only serving a reminder of what is happening as far as that is concerned, because everything, and especially those who are willing to apply to have a seat in the board or committee level, the updates that you need to know is that application to be a committee member or a board member, it's ending tomorrow, the 27th of October, by 12 UTC. And so if you haven't done it, you have just a few hours from now to do that. And to be able to also sit as a board or committee member, you need to be a paid-up member. I think Edufo just said it, by paying $10 a year. So you can do that between now and tomorrow, 12 UTC, to apply to be, as I've said, a board or a committee member. But we also have to remind you that if you wish to vote, remember after tomorrow, voting will have to continue. But if you wish to also vote, you still need to be a paid-up member, but there is an extension of deadline for those who wish to vote. And that is also on the 30th of September. And so maybe you might not be interested in sitting on a board or committee, but if you wish to vote for those who apply to these positions, you still have 3 dates after tomorrow. That is on the 30th of September to register as a paid-up member, and then you get the chance to vote when the window opens. So this is by way of a short update for those who are interested in the board and committee elections. Again, back to you.
OK, bon, je vous laisse en résumer ce que Samuel vient de nous dire. Il parlait des élections du comité et du conseil des élections d'Intersect. Il mentionnait que la date limite pour présenter votre candidature, c'est demain à 11h UTC. Alors, on vous encourage à y participer si vous êtes intéressé. Il soulignait le fait que il faut être membre d'Intersect pour soumettre votre application et pour voter. Ce n'est pas basé sur vos ADA, c'est basé sur votre membership. Et c'est $10 par individu d'être membre. Alors, on vous encourage de vous inscrire là-bas. Okay, next, I think we're going to talk about the Intersect Regional Hub launches, and we're honored today to be joined by the lead of the Kenya, or someone participating in the Kenya Regional Hub. Hernie, are you with us? Are you able to unmute?
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan, her
Okay.
name is Heron.
Oh, Heron. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. You told me that earlier, and then I'm reading it and it threw me off. Heron. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
Would you like to introduce yourself briefly and then talk to us about your hub in Kenya?
Yeah, sure. Okay,
Floor is
so
yours.
hi everyone. I'm Herin Omolo. I'm the lead for Cardano Kenya community, and I'm very much excited and happy to be here to take us through what transpired during the hub launch here in Kenya. Yeah, so I'll just go straight to give out some of the outlines. The launch, the Intersect Africa Regional Hub launch that happened in Nairobi, Kenya, was divided into 3 major parts, just as any other. We had pre-launch, we had launching, and then we also had a post-launch. Yeah, so during the pre-launch, we were able to do our pre-launch on 8th of September, 2024. through Zoom, and it was from 4:30 p.m. to 5:21 p.m. EAT, that is East African time. And we were able to have 38 attendees who were able to join us online. And the meeting went well. We were able to follow the agenda. We were able to have Mr. Jeremiah Bani. We also had Madam Marthy, and they took us through everything, the overview, and even was able to mention, because it was a pre-launch, we were even able to give the attendees direction on the launch itself, the date, and also encourage those who had not registered by then to register and be able to attend the launching. Yeah, so it was good. And even we had a very massive question and answer sessions where the attendees were asking so many questions like what do one gain when they join Intersect? And just to mention one question, Jeremiah Bani and Madam Mercy were able to handle all the questions successfully. Yeah, and that was very nice. Yeah, so I'll just jump into the big day, which was the now the launching day. It happened here in Nairobi on the 14th of September 2024 at West Park Towers here in Westlands. Yeah, the meeting was supposed to start at 9, but because of some delays a bit, we were able to start at 9:30 a.m. Till 12:30 p.m. Yeah, and during the launch, we had 71 in person. Those who attended physically, there was 71, and we were also able to have 13 people joining virtually. That gave us a total of 84 attendees that were able to attend the launching. And we were able to follow the agenda so well. I did the introduction and the welcoming. I did the welcoming. Then Mr. Jeremiah Bani did the introduction to the event, where he was able to encourage the attendees to be very keen to speakers and also take some notes. Then we were also blessed to have Mr. Daniel Lezu as one of the speakers as well. And he was able to tackle well the overview of blockchain, and it really came in handy for the Kenyan community because most of them were new. Most of them were very new, so the overview really helped. And we also were able to have Mr. Darlington also as a speaker, who also joined and took us through a lot of topics there. And we also had Mr. Nick Cook, who talked about the benefits of Intersect. Yeah, so during the launch, we were able to explain a lot in details for the attendees. And I know those who joined online could see how interactive the session was. And the attendees were so much keen and were very much happy. By the time we were ending the session, they were very happy because at least they had some information that they didn't know before they joined the meeting. So they were very much happy. Yeah, so the meeting ended at 12:56 p.m. Yeah, that is when we ended our launching, but it was it really helped the attendees. They reached out to me and they were very much happy on that. And then now after the launch, we were able to. Okay, before I go to the post-launch, Madam Mercy was also there. She even joined online. She was even given time to speak a bit to the people. I'm sorry, I was almost forgetting that. Yeah, so when we go to the post-launch, and that is now the final bit of it, our post-launch, which was held online on the Zoom, it happened on the 14th of August. And we were able to summarize the key takeaways from the Intersect Africa Regional Hub launch. Yeah, where after a brief recap of what was going on during the launch, also the attendees got time to ask questions, and it was so interactive as well. They also shared their opinion, their ideas on what they were able to experience during the launching, and they were very much excited as well. And the team still addressed all the inquiries with a lot of clarity, yeah, deepening the understanding of Cardano's potential. And by the end of the session, at least also those who attended were able to be very satisfied with all the information that were being shared during the post-launch. Yeah, so okay, I didn't mention the total people we got during the post-launch were 23 who joined the post-launch. Yeah, so yeah, that is what happened. That is what transpired during the hub launch here in Kenya. And also, we really, really appreciate and say thank you to all that contributed to the success of this. Yeah, we really, really appreciate you. Yeah, I can't mention one by one, but we do appreciate, and even a big thank you to Wada. We really do appreciate as Kenyan community. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to hear all of that. I don't think I can translate all of it, but maybe could you remind me? I didn't catch how many people were at your main event?
Sorry. Okay, the main event was having 71 attendees in person.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm just confirming from the list. We had 71 in person and just a second. 71 in person and 13 virtual.
Okay. I'll just do a quick summary in French then. Bon, pour résumer rapidement, Erin nous a parlé de leur lancement du hub Intersect au Kenya. Ils ont été aidés par Jeremiah du Ghana qui était avec eux. Ils ont eu les 3 événements prévus comme des autres lancements. Un pré-lancement, le lancement lui-même et un post-lancement. Leur premier événement avait 38 personnes. L'événement principal, ils avaient 71 en direct et 13 qui étaient virtuels. Elle a mentionné comment Merci les a assistés virtuellement aussi pour leur événement. Et ils ont eu beaucoup de succès. Ils ont parlé bon, comment ils ont bien reçu dans la communauté. Les gens ont été intéressés, ils avaient beaucoup de questions, comment être membre, ils ont pu répondre à leurs questions. Alors, ils ont reporté une expérience positive. Voilà une petite résumé. I didn't say everything you said, I'm sure, but I think generally the sentiment I got from you is that it was a successful launch. You were feeling good about the engagement from the community. And so that's what I shared in French. Thanks so much. Okay, and next we're getting into Fund 13. Fund 13 launch happened yesterday. Some of us here were probably present at the Catalyst Town Hall, but for those of you who missed it, Samuel and I are here to give you all the important updates. So Samuel, I will let you, do you want to go first here? Or should we?
Yes, Megan.
Perfect.
So this is how we intend to share updates for those of you who were there. And this is just a reminder of what transpired. But for those of you who were not present, this is just a recap of the highlights of the event. And let's see if there are new changes to Fund 13 rules. So the first part of this is that we are going to share tidbits of the the launch and some key updates that we think is very relevant to anybody who is planning to partake in fan 13. And the next part is where we are going to talk about globals and hub strategy for fan 13. We'll talk about that some more later, but except to just remind ourselves that the rules didn't really change from fan 12. So it's most likely to be going, it's most likely going to be the same thing as we did in fan 12, but let's see how it goes. We'll talk about that some more later. So without wasting time, I want to, like I said, share some tidbits about the whole funding. So Megan, after I am done, if there are any things that I'm not able to talk about or escape me, maybe you can add some more because you were there.
Sure. Is this what you'd like me to be sharing? I have the fund guide up.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know if you can share it in the screen. Sorry, on the chat for.
Oh yeah, I can also share in the chat.
Yeah. So a few things that I said we want to talk about is the fact that yes, the launch was done yesterday, so it means fan 13 is alive now. So right now, as we speak, submission of proposals is opened. Later, we are going to talk about the timelines. I think we talked some more about that in previous calls. What is key in fan 13 is the fact that proposals are sorted into 3 dynamic areas or dynamic categories. And these are Cardano use cases, Cardano Open, and Cardano partners. Later, we are going to explore that also. And each of them is designed to, let's say, spark some groundbreaking innovation on Cardano. And fan 13 is also levels out to voter participation, meaning that ADA holders need a minimum of 25 ADA to cast votes to the time of the snapshot instead of the 450 instituted since fan 4. This is very new, and I think Project Catalyst is listening to some major concerns that have been raised over time regarding the voting power. So now the good news is that you don't need to have 450 ADA to be part of the voting folks. You just need 25 ADA, and I think that is exciting news. And this, we believe, or this is intended to open the net for a lot of people to vote and share their views on which proposals are good enough to get funded and everything. So that is an exciting information. So quickly, I want to also talk about a few things that I think is key to those who are submitting proposals into the funding round. First, I'll read what is stated categorically, and if there are any explanations, I can offer that. 1, project participants may only lead or co-propose a maximum of 6 catalyst proposals across all categories. If more than 6 are submitted, only the first 6 published entries will be eligible for funding, and the remainder will be archived. And this is a major part of the rules which I was referring to regarding hub strategy and global strategy, which I said we are going to talk about that some more later on the call. Quickly, what that means is that if you are planning to put in a proposal, you can only lead or co-submit up to 6 proposals for funding, regardless of the category. And that if you submit more than 6, only the first 6 will be considered for funding. And the extra ones, as I've stated, will be ignored or stored away or archived. The next key thing that we have to also bear in mind is that Anyone involved in this project cannot be part of any active project funded by Fund 9 or earlier. If they have unfinished projects from those funds, they must fully complete and close those projects before this new project reaches the community review stage. I think that's self-explanatory. The next key updates that we want to also bear in mind is that if you want to put in or partake in Fund 13, but you're already working on projects funded by Fund 10 or Fund 11, you can only submit a new project in Fund 13 if in the past 6 months you have provided and received approval for at least one progress update or milestone for each of the active projects. Going on, Megan, before the call, we're talking about the leftover funding, which I want to take time to explain a little bit per my understanding. And with that, usually in the context of project catalysts, there is sometimes leftover funding after the primary distribution of funds. So this leftover funding or leftover amount is allocated to specific projects that meet certain conditions. But here, projects that are eligible for this leftover funding must not have received more than one funded proposal in Fund 13. This is to prevent projects with multiple funded proposals from accessing additional leftover funding. So the exclusion of the categories for this particular leftover funding refers to the Cardano use cases where projects under this challenge category are excluded from the leftover funding pool. And this means that any project that proposes products or services utilizing Cardano technology won't be eligible. Similarly, projects falling under categories related to Cardano partnerships, that is challenges focused on fostering partnerships and collaborations within the ecosystem, are also excluded from receiving this leftover funds. I'm sharing other updates for full rundown of the guidelines. We can refer to additional sources on docs.projectcatalyst.io. That's where I guess you can get more updates on these things that we are sharing.
Okay, how about I jump in and do this part in French before we go to the next part?
All right, that would be great. Yeah.
OK. Bon, pour résumer les points clés de l'introduction du Fonds de 13. Bon, il n'y a pas beaucoup de différences par rapport aux fonds précédentes. Ils ont maintenu la limite des 6 propositions, compris toutes les catégories. Ils vont aussi suivre le même modèle des fonds précédentes, fonds de 12, où ils ont 3 catégories globales avec les niveaux dedans. On va venir à ça prochainement. Ils continuent d'être stricts sur la fermeture de projets anciens. Maintenant, c'est le fonds de 9 qui doit être terminé avant de soumettre plus de propositions. Bon, il faut finaliser le close-out avant la phase de community review. Alors, ça ne veut pas dire que si vous n'avez pas encore fermé, vous ne pouvez pas soumettre, mais il faut absolument finaliser avant la community review. Sur le même chemin, ils exigent que les projets de fonds de 10 jusqu'à 12 sont aussi en bon statut. Ça veut dire que vous avez soumis votre preuve dans les 6 mois précédents pour être éligible pour fonds de 13. Ils ont mentionné ce leftover funding, ça veut dire que les fonds qui restent dans les catégories vont être distribués, mais pas si bon, ils disent que un maximum de une proposition qui peut être financée de cette façon. Et leur grand annoncement hier, ils ont mis beaucoup d'anticipation sur ça, mais ils ont diminué le barrière d'entrée au vote de 25 ADA. Alors, ça veut dire que pour voter les propositions, vous ne devez qu'avoir 25 ADA dans votre portefeuille pour pouvoir voter. Ça, c'est un grand changement au fonds précédent où c'était vers les 500. Alors, ça élimine nos excuses. Ceux qui disent qu'ils ne peuvent pas voter, ça vous permet de voter. Voilà. Et pour avoir accès à tout ça, bon, j'ai partagé le lien ici dans le chat. Alors, vous pouvez lire plus en détail et cliquer sur le lien ici pour encore plus de détails, plus d'informations. Now I'm going to pass it back to Samuel. Did you want to run through the categories briefly, or maybe we can just put this?
Megan, let's remind ourselves of the categories in terms of what is happening. So, like I earlier stated, there are 3 categories in general, and we are talking about the Cardano use cases. There's a total budget of 13,500,000 ADA, and it's divided into 2 funding tracks. So the first one the first track talks about Cardano concept, which 5 million has been allocated for that. If you're planning to submit proposals in that respect, the proposal cap or total budget should amount to about 150,000 ADA. So bear that in mind. And also you talk about products, which for that about 8.5 million budget is refers to the total budget actually. And if you're also planning to put a proposal in that respect, then the amount is capped at 500,000 ADA. These are just highlights as the document is being shared. The description of these tracks in terms of concept products are explained. So I think later people can read some more and know where to align and where to put their proposals. So quickly also talk about the Cardano Open, where a total of 13 million ADA is allocated for that particular budget, divided into 2 tracks as usual. These are developers track and ecosystem track. So people who are planning to put in technical proposals, you should submit to the Cardano Open, that is the developers track. But if the proposal is non-technical, then you should also submit to Cardano Open for the ecosystem track. For the developers track, an amount of 8 million ADA is allocated, and proposals budget is capped at 200,000 ADA. But for the ecosystem, an amount of 5 million ADA is allocated as the total budget, but each proposal is capped at 100,000 ADA. Last but not the least is the Cardano partners. This is where some big money is allocated. The biggest budget here is 20 million ADA. And it's also into 2 tracks, enterprise R&D and growth and asset relation. Those who are planning to put in proposals in the enterprise, you are capped at between 500,000 ADA to 2 million ADA. And the total amount or total funding budget is capped at 15 million ADA. And for those who are interested in the growth and acceleration, just 5 million ADA is allocated for the total budget. But your project should be capped between 500,000 and 2 million ADA for that particular purpose. So These are just some tidbits. Like I said, if you want to read some more as regard the actual descriptions of these categories and what they entail in general, you may have time to read about it some more as Megan shared the link in the chat. Megan, take over from here. Then after
OK,
that, we can
merci.
talk about the key dates, and that will be it for the session.
OK, merci Samuel. Je pense que vous pouvez bien lire les chiffres ici. La différence clé des fonds précédents, fonds 12 en particulier, c'est qu'au lieu d'avoir 3 niveaux, ils ont fait seulement 2 niveaux par catégorie cette fois-ci. Alors, en use cases, il y a seulement concept et produit. Alors, c'est vraiment à distinguer entre la phase de votre projet. Si c'est dans les débuts, vous devez considérer le concept. Mais si vous êtes bien établi déjà dans l'écosystème, vous pouvez soumettre en produit. Maintenant, pour le open, ils ont aussi divisé en deux. Ceux qui sont plus vers les développeurs ou ceux qui sont plus pour encourager l'écosystème en général. Il faut aussi considérer pour les grandes partenaires, Cardano Partners catégorie. Bon, ça, ce sont les choses sérieuses. Alors, si vous considérez faire un partenariat avec quelqu'un, on appelle ça un premier tier, une organisation. Vous pouvez considérer ici. Il y aura aussi plus d'informations sur ça sur le site IdeaScale lui-même, comme le lancement va être actif tout à l'heure. Maintenant, nous allons un peu dans les dates clés, le timeline des soumissions. Je laisse Samuel d'abord parler. Go ahead, Samuel.
All right, thank you, Megan. So just a recap of the key timelines. We have talked about this in previous times, but let's refresh our memories, especially as we are dedicating this time for Fund 13. So yes, yesterday the program was launched, and by now proposal submissions are live. It's going to take place for 2 weeks, and during these 2 weeks, proposals are required to submit their draft ideas. But on the 3rd of October, the start of community reviewers registration will begin, which will go on until the 20th of October. In Fund 12, there were a lot of issues with payment for community reviewers, but I think it was resolved at the end. We hope that in Fund 13, things are streamlined for people who work hard to review projects to get their due. But on the 10th of October, this will be deadline for proposal submissions, and then 6 days will be given to finalize proposals based on the community feedback. So on the 16th of October 2024, this will be the deadline to finalize all proposals. Then on to the 23rd of October 2024, that will be the start of the community review stage. So those of you who are planning to review or be part of the community review, note that you are going to start on the 23rd of October. And that will span through to November 7th.
Also, just to highlight, sorry to interrupt you, but this is the start of the community review stage. That is the deadline for closing your Fund 9 projects. So just to highlight that a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, though.
Thank you. So on November 7th, 2024, usually the Cardano partners proposals in that particular category take a bit of time, unlike the other categories. So as proposals submissions are starting today or is live today, for those who are planning to take advantage of the Cardano partners, it's going to be extensive or extended till November 7th. So you should note that. And by November 20th, 2024, that will be the time for voter registration deadline on November 28th. Fan 13 voting begins and is going to end on December 12th, 11 UTC. And fast forward, Fan 13 selected proposals will be announced on the week of December 16th. And by January 2025, onboarding of Fan 13 proposals is actually going to start. So these are a key timeline for us to note as we are taking advantage of this funding round. Take over, Megan.
OK, bon, je voulais surtout parler de quelques dates pas mentionnées, tout comme Samuel vient de dire. Alors, aujourd'hui, c'est le lancement des soumissions. On aura 2 semaines pour faire nos propositions. Le dernière date pour soumettre les brouillons, c'est le 3. Attends, c'est le 10. Le 10 octobre. N'oubliez pas que souvent, cette fois-ci, il faut soumettre le brouillon complet. Sinon, le système rejette souvent. Alors, un truc à anticiper. Et après ça, il y aura 6 jours pour finaliser la proposition. Comme je mentionnais, il faut fermer les anciennes proposals du fonds de 9 avant le lancement de Community Review. Ça, c'est le 23. Ça veut dire que ça doit être soumis et accepté avant le 23. Pas seulement que vous devez soumettre avant. Alors, ça, c'est une date importante pour ceux qui ont des projets en fonds de 9. Mais c'est aussi le lancement du Community Review. Alors, pour ceux qui sont intéressés à participer, c'est une bonne expérience et une façon de gagner un peu d'ADA. Les deadlines pour le Cardano Partners est un peu différent par rapport aux autres catégories. Alors, vous avez jusqu'au 7 novembre pour cela. Et après, bon, ils vont essayer de terminer tout ça avant les vacances de Noël. Alors, le 20 novembre commence l'enregistrement de vote. Comme je mentionnais, vous n'aurez plus d'excuses pour voter. Et le 28, c'est le lancement de vote. Alors, voilà un peu un sommaire. Pour plus d'informations, vous avez le lien ici. Surtout, IdeaScale lui-même va avoir plus d'informations sur les catégories. Je vous encourage à y aller pour commencer à réfléchir sur vos propositions. And now I'll put down the screen share and I will let Edoufoy put our slides back up. And then Samuel has a couple of highlights to go through from the Wada perspective of what you need to know about Fund 13.
Yes, Megan, but at this point, you think we should maybe ask if anybody has questions on the entire launch? We'll try and see if we can answer before we go to that, or you think we should finish everything and ask for questioning? What do you think?
Yeah, I do have a hard stop on the hour, so maybe we could just pause and see if there are any questions here.
Yeah.
Bon, n'hésitez pas aussi, les francophones, si vous avez des questions, à les demander en français ou les écrire dans le chat. Is anyone submitting proposals? You can share an emoji. Are you excited? How are you feeling?
And if anybody has questions on what has been said so far, I mean, they can unmute and ask, and we see if we can answer.
Maybe we can let people write in the chat as
right.
you're going through.
All right.
We can just power through here.
All right. So then quickly, let's get updates on hubs and global strategy for Fund 13. I will share a document maybe after the call, not now, but just to give tidbits or a few highlights. We have said some of these things already in some previous Wada Forums, I think last 2 weeks, regarding strategy. We thought that we are going to maintain the same strategy as was in Fund 12, especially when there are no changes in the rules as far as Fund 13 is concerned. So just a few highlights or tidbits I want to share from global perspective. And maybe after the call, I will send these guidelines to all hub leads and also perhaps share in the socials so that people can read some more and apply accordingly. So first, Wada Global Limited, officially, it is to be announced for our information that we will be submitting proposals in Fund 13. And this is part of our broader fundraising strategy. But in accordance with the Fund 13 guidelines, which limit participants to leading or co-proposing a maximum of 6 catalyst proposals across all categories, Global encourages hubs to conduct independent fundraising efforts. These efforts should be mindful of Wada Global's exposure, and we request cooperation to ensure compliance with this particular rule. We know that this is actually a difficult thing because ideally, licensed hubs must be free to co-propose with WADA or utilize the WADA brand in their own proposals. But the rules, bring some level of blockers to that because WADA Global is putting in proposals, and if more hubs utilize the brand or co-propose with WADA, there will be overexposure, and we are afraid most of the proposal might not go through per the rules that we read earlier on. So that is why we are forced to take this particular action. But to manage the visibility of the WADA brand and avoid overexposure, the use of WADA in proposal titles is also restricted, unfortunately, as per the guidelines mentioned above. So while we do that, we are also in a position to remind you that WADA Global does not exercise any operational oversight over hub-initiated projects. Hub may submit up to 6 proposals in this funding round, including co-proposals. So yes, licensed hubs have the power to submit as many proposals as they want in accordance with the rules or the guidelines for Fund 13 as they have been explained. But WADA has no operational oversight over that. But we also remain fully committed to supporting hub fundraising efforts in the funding round. So what we are planning to do is to assist in proposal writing, we assist in promotion, we assist in publicizing, and also assist in participation during the voting rounds. So as a matter of fact, we are encouraging anybody who is putting in any proposals this time round to share with us, because we are very eager to provide assistance as we have outlined above. So I'm quickly going to share a link. We have created a template that is Global and Hub Fund 13 proposal template. And I'll share in the chat right now. You are please encouraged to share with us your proposal, and we'll look at it. We'll read through and see if we can make some suggestions that might help in terms of helping to write a very strong proposal. Then during the promotion and publicization and voting to WADA will utilize its brand to help in that direction. This is what we can do as far as the rules allow us to do. So these are a few things that I want to share as far as the Fund 13 is concerned and how Global and hubs will align for this particular funding round. So yeah, that's it, Megan. I've shared the link to the template on the chat, so please utilize that as well. Back to you, Megan.
OK. Merci, Samuel. Bon, et mentionner la stratégie de Wada Global pour Founder 13. Comme on a mentionné avant, il y a les limites en catalyst de 6 proposals auxquels on peut participer. Alors, on vous prie de limiter votre utilisation du mot WADA dans vos titres de proposition. Et nous ne pouvons pas forcément être co-proposeurs sur les propositions. Alors, il faut être connaissant de ce fait. Ceci dit, vous n'avez pas de limite tant que hub par rapport à WADA en termes de propositions. Vous êtes libre de soumettre jusqu'à 6 propositions. Et on peut vous encourager dans ce sens et vous offrir du soutien, mais pas en co-proposant. Samuel vient de partager une template sur laquelle nous pouvons partager nos propositions dans le sens de publicité et visibilité de chaque proposition. Alors, si vous voulez soumettre, ça serait important d'enregistrer ici sur ce fichier pour que nous ayons une visibilité des propositions dans nos cercles. Voilà. J'espère que ça a répondu aux questions par rapport à les implications de Wada Global dans vos propositions. Merci beaucoup. Thanks everyone for
Okay, so
joining.
Megan, just a quick update. I'm getting notifications. People are trying to access the template, but I think it was restricted. I just want to announce that it is access is now updated, so please you can now access it. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So thanks everyone for joining this week's Wada Forum. I think Samuel will stick around for some questions if you have any. If not, feel free to join us next week. I think we'll be offering more proposal support throughout the proposal process. But please do plan to share your proposal links on this spreadsheet so we can just be tracking the Wada Global links. And Samuel, we see your screen share there. It looks like it's everything.
I think Adubwa is sharing. Yes, so this is how it looks like. So you give us the idea number, you give us the proposal title, give us the problem statement, tell us a summary of the solution. And this is the most important thing. Please share with us the proposal link. And as I reiterated on the call, or as I said on the call, we are going to look at each and everyone's proposal, read through, give a feedback, help to structure it, and so that we can have a very strong proposal. And during the promotion and voting too, we are going to use our brand to help in that direction, hoping that this time we can receive more funding for our community. We are on top of the hour. We bring the curtain down for today's edition of Wada Forum. Thank you very much for joining us. But always you can reach out to us, hello@wada.org. You can visit our website, wada.org, or join our socials, Facebook, X, YouTube, IG, and the rest.